Hello and welcome to another episode of the Low Budget Review Show. I'm your host Eric Smith, and today I'm talking about Mr. Nasty by Leo Darke. This is another one from Sam Hain Publishing, coming out on September 1st, and this is really a nasty little story. What you've got here is someone is copying murders from the video Nasties. And I'll get to what that is in a minute if you're not familiar. But there's a copycat murderer out there committing these horrendous murders, copying the video Nasties, and leaving a copy of the video Nasties at the crime scenes. Now there's a supporting actor named Tommy Wallace who happens to be working on these different film and TV shows where these murders are taking place. So the cops start to suspect him, and he wants to prove his innocence, and it's this sort of slasher / mystery story. That's it in a nutshell. Not the greatest description, but I'm going to get deeper into it as always. First of all, for those who don't know, the video Nasties. Back in, I believe it was 1983, the director of Public Prosecution, or DPP, over in Britain, made a list of movies that were considered so depraved that they would ruin the youth of that country, that these movies were prosecuted. Now, the list consisted, I think, of 72 movies, but only 20-some or 30-some were successfully prosecuted. But basically, if any video shop owner owned or rented these movies, they could be prosecuted. They would be breaking the law, and they could go to jail, pay fines, whatever. So it's this infamous list of movies that were deemed just horrible. So you have this killer who's copying murders from these different movies and then leaving a copy of the specific movie at the murder scene. Now it does tie in with Tommy Wallace a little bit, as we learn. He does have some history with the video Nasties, but essentially he's just as I said, a supporting actor, an extra, trying to live his life and make his money and build a career, and he just gets caught up in all of this. So, first of all, fantastic. Very, very bloody and violent, with strong sexual content, gruesome. I kind of like to think of this as its own prose version of a video nasty. As I was reading it, I was in the mindset of watching this on the drive-in movie screen, and it really had that feel to it. I like Leo Darke's style, very British. Lot of British idioms. Is that the proper term? A lot of, sort of phrases and things that you definitely don't hear over here in the United States. And I happen to like that kind of thing. Broadens one's horizons. Now, a lot of interesting characters. I'm not sure any of the characters are likable. Tommy Wallace comes close, I guess. But he's cheating on his wife, even though their marriage is essentially over. They don't really love each other anymore. They don't have much of a relationship, but still, he's always surfing dating sites and stuff, and he comes off as a little sleazy. But, he's just a dude, and he's an actor. He's not a horrible character. He's well-written, well-rounded, interesting, just not the most likable guy. My favorite character is probably the least likable character, and that's Detective Inspector Slade. This guy is a throwback to the 70s, possibly earlier. He's misogynistic, possibly homophobic and racist. I don't know. I don't know if they really get into if those two things come up. Definitely sexist. Hey, the people on the force know that he's got a horrible reputation. Everybody's just waiting for him to get fired, but he gets results, and he's incredibly entertaining, and he does have possibly a few redeeming qualities, but a great, great character. Man, I loved reading when this guy was on the page. Just a lot of fun. And his poor Detective Sergeant Trevor Whitley. We don't get as much character building from Trevor, just that he's, oh man, he's Slade's number 2, and he has to take a lot of crap. But he's a good cop. Probably for me, I think the most likable character was Detective Constable Nandu. That's how you say it. Who's kind of a rookie in the squad, a young black woman who at first Slade just writes off as a young black woman detective, but she really proves herself. She's very, very good at her job and a great character. We've got Mark Hamm, who is Tommy's rival. And I was really reminded of Ricky Gervais in the TV show Extras. I don't remember his rival's name, but if you ever saw that show, Extras was a great show. It's hilarious. Ricky Gervais played a supporting actor, and there was another guy who, I think in Extras, he had started out as a supporting actor and had started moving up into bigger roles, and there was this rivalry between Ricky Gervais and this other character, and that's what you've got going on here in Mr. Nasty with Tommy Wallace and Mark Hamm. They're both supporting actors, but Mark Hamm gets the best supporting roles. He'll get a line or two where Tommy doesn't get any, and he's kind of moving up the ladder, and there's just this rivalry between the two of them. And then, I like some bloody, gruesome horror, and this definitely fits the bill. As I said, it really feels like a video nasty. The list of video nasties is an odd one. Some of the movies on there I can understand. I don't necessarily agree with the idea of the video nasties on the list at all to begin with, but I understand how some of these movies made it on the list. There's a lot of, well, I shouldn't say a lot of, there's a few Nazi exploitation movies on there. There's at least one nunsploitation movie on there. Some of them just seem kind of odd. A lot of them are really low budget and poorly made, but you do have movies like Last House on the Left, I Spit on Your Grave, The Evil Dead was on the list. So that should give you an idea of the kind of movies that were on this list and the feel that this book has. And I really, really liked it. Leo Darke, according to the author bio in the back, is a supporting actor who has played a Dalek on Doctor Who, and he's been in, say, Merlin, some other things. I don't know, but anyway, so he knows what he's talking about, and you do get a lot of really nice details behind the scenes of film and TV production, which lends some authenticity to the story. And I like that kind of thing. I'm the kind of guy that watches all the extras on a DVD. I love that behind-the-scenes stuff. So, really entertaining characters, if not likable, but well-written. And I love Slade. I really love this character. He's a horrible person, but one of the most entertaining characters I've read in a long time. The killer is really fascinating. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on. For anyone who has seen these particular video nasties, there's maybe half a dozen or so specific ones that the murders are copied from. And if you've seen those movies, you'll recognize the murders and the characters and everything, which is really cool for fans of that sort of cinema. One of the things I found interesting is that Tommy Wallace gets hired to work on a show called Professor What, and he's hired to play a colic. I'm saying that because it's pronounced Dalek, and they just changed the D to a K, so I'm saying colic instead of Kalic. Maybe some people say... Nah, I've never heard anyone call it a Dalek. It's a Dalek. And the thing that I wonder, and I have no idea, is if Leo Darke, if the author just didn't feel like actually using Doctor Who and the Dalek, or if he couldn't. I don't know the legalities and copyright and all that stuff. I mean, they do mention real shows, and they do mention some real things. Obviously, they mentioned the real Video Nasties. So I wonder why it wasn't actually Doctor Who that Tommy Wallace went to work on. Why he wasn't a Dalek, why he was on Professor What, and he was a colic. Makes it sound like the thing that babies get. Oh, that baby's got colic. Which may be something Dr. What, or Professor What, needs to fight. Anyway, that's just a little side thing. Very violent, very bloody, very well told. I really, really enjoyed this book. The ending is wild, and I think it could be a bit divisive. I think some people, like me, are really going to dig the ending, and I do think there are going to be people that don't like the ending, don't like where the book goes and how everything comes together. I could be completely wrong. That's just my feeling. I do think you're going to have both camps. Those like me who love it, and those who really don't like it at all. But that happens. I'm still going to recommend it. And so, again, very simple drawings here. I do give Mr. Nasty 5 out of 5 censored VHS tapes, because your delicate sensibilities can't handle it. You can't watch these movies or you'll turn into a lunatic. I'm just trying to protect the youth of America and the rest of the world. Let's toss that aside. I love this cover. Really enjoyed the book. So I say pick this up, pre-order it. Now, as always, I will have links for the book in the description below. One directly from Sam Hain, one for Amazon. If you have any comments, questions, or corrections, please post them in the comments below. The comment section will be open for spoilers. Just post a spoiler warning. It's not that difficult. Just be polite. Come on, folks. Please like, share, and subscribe. Now, as an added bonus, I guess, I don't know, I am going to put another link in the description below. There is a YouTube channel that I absolutely love. It's called Horrible Reviews. And it's this Dutch guy named... I'm going to ruin this. Joran? I don't know. See, I can't say the dude's name. I believe it's Jereon. Something like that. It's Dutch. I can't pronounce it. I just heard him say it not long ago, and I've already jumbled it up in my head. Anyway, Horrible Reviews. It's a great channel. He has this whole series on the most disturbing movies, amongst other things. But the point here is, he recently did a series on the Video Nasties. He covered all 72 movies that were on the Video Nasties list. It's 18 parts, because at the end, the last 4 or 5 parts, he had to break up each of the last 4 parts into 2 parts each, so it doubled those last 4 into 8. You know what I'm saying. Because of a whole YouTube thing. But they're all about 15 to 20 minutes long, except the ones that are broken up, obviously, are shorter. And really, just, first of all, the guy is really entertaining. I really like this guy. He's kind of like me with what he does, except with movies, low-budget movies, horror movies. He's got a series on the worst movies ever made. And I do think he was a student of film, maybe studied film. I think he might have mentioned that once. But really, he's just a guy that loves watching movies and wants to talk about them and share his thoughts. So I'm going to put a link to the first of his Video Nasties videos, and then from there you can access all the rest. Last night I watched all 18 right after I finished the book. I think all the movies that were mentioned in the book I was familiar with, but I wanted to go ahead and see what everything was, everything on the list, those that were successfully prosecuted and those that weren't. Like I said, 72 movies. So again, I'm the kind of guy that loves behind-the-scenes stuff. I'm a huge fan of cinema, a huge fan of horror. I'm a huge fan of low-budget stuff. And so I love the Horrible Reviews channel. Hopefully you'll dig it. You'll check it out. So I'll have a link for that in the description below as well. I highly recommend it for horror fans. And yeah, the guy, he's more entertaining than I am, I'll tell you that. So anyway, I think that covers everything. So that's it. This is the Low Budget Review Show. I'm Eric Smith. Until next time, read more books.